And we're live.
Anyway, do we want to do any UFC talk? I guess we covered Joe Lozon. Very pumped about that, so no need to go there.
I did want to quickly. So Uriah Faber and McGregor were in this argument, and McGregor was talking about all the money he makes. That's one of his favorite. I'm very successful, and he is. And Faber was like, "You watch. In 10 years, I'll have more than you." And I kind of want to watch this play out. McGregor pours his money into like depreciating assets and, women and blow or whatever he's buying.
As far as
appreciating assets.
Much though, like I think you could put on the show that Conor has put on very cheaply if you lease a car for 18 months. You don't he's in a Rolls Royce. That's the car he was in. I remember now. He's in a Rolls Royce in Venice. Those were the images. You can lease that car for like $5 or $6 a month or something like that. That's what it costs. Like you can get those crazy, most expensive cars in the world for $5-10 a month. You can also be part of these I don't know what you call it. It's like a co-op where like 30 rich guys will all pool their money and we all sort of own a fleet of cars, and it's almost like a timeshare for like super high-end cars and stuff. There's cheap ways to go about it. You did notice he didn't buy that fucking $250,000 mink coat or whatever. He's not that stupid yet. The tag on it. I saw that tag and I wasn't like that. I was like, that's not embarrassing. That's smart as fuck. Like he's playing a mind game up there, and then he's going to return this thing to the fucking store, and the store's probably going to thank him when it's over for the advertising. Somebody will probably come buy that thing because Conor McGregor wore it.
I don't know how he does it specifically, but 50 Cent, he had to testify. So 50 Cent's also declaring bankruptcy, and then he's like sitting there with all these cars and stacks of money and stuff, and he's like, that's all for show. My career requires me to pretend that I'm rich, and
then hookers and blow are cheap too. I mean,
at the kind of money he makes.
Yeah. 20 million a fight. He's definitely not hurting.
Pretty much everything's cheap if you're making 20 million a fight.
Yeah, the only way Conor is going to be poorer than Uriah Faber in 10 years is if Conor gets taken advantage of or hurt really bad or develops an actual drug problem, not a cocaine problem, because you can't snort enough coke with that. He's got more money than he can snort coke. You know what I mean? Like he could buy enough coke to last him for the next 20 years and be just fine. It's just not that expensive.
Declined in how scary people think it is, right? Like in the 80s, coke was like heroin and meth and coke, and I don't know what the worst ones are, but like it was in that class.
Yeah.
Now people consider it almost like pot plus or Adderall, it's.
Yeah, it's not like if you talk to anyone, there's a very different vibe talking about like meth or heroin. Like those are the ones I think that in everybody's book, unless you're a meth head or a heroin addict, that like that's the top of your list of like meth, heroin, crack. What's another crazy one? PCP. That's one that's so bananas.
Angel
you don't
dust.
Think about it. Yeah, angel dust. Definitely not.
What is angel dust? Does that have another name?
PCP.
Yeah. It's just a chemical compound that's going to end up sending you into a scary, scary place. And often the times those are the guys that end up being naked on the street, punching fences and like
police.
roaring like a berserker at the police and stuff like that. Like, yeah, come on, I'll kill you all with my bare hands. Because they're so just whacked out that they think that. And the cops are like, I'm going to have to kill you in 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
In high school, they taught us that they like laced PCP and all the other stuff that you liked. Like, do you want to try acid? Do you want to try shrooms? Do you want to try marijuana? Might be a little PCP in there because people just giving that shit away for free to scare you.
Yeah, the PCP dealer in that case is terrible at selling their product. Right? They're just sprinkling it about. You know what
they told us?
Know if anybody wants the PCP? I don't know.
The anti-drug message when I was in high school was that marijuana funds terrorism. It was that, and which is horseshit. Opiates do. Yeah. But only because the United States lets it happen. Mm-hmm. So don't point the fucking finger at the Afghanis, the poor tribesman who's just trying to grow some poppy for his people. Maybe don't even point it too hard at the Taliban, though. They need something else pointed at them. Point it right at the fucking United States government, the CIA, the Central Command, the people who are over there guarding the fucking poppy plants with our tax dollars, our weaponry, and allowing it to go on because it's just part of a big fucking system that they can't let stop turning.
Well, they decided that disrupting their economy was a bad idea. That was the decision that they made. I can't say if it's right or wrong, but that's the thought process. It's not just, you know.
We could have it seems like it would have been a nicer thing to subsidize some corn growth over there, right? Like then let them continue growing fucking heroin.
Would corn grow over there?
No, of course not. It's
I think that heroin
shit.
is. I think that they're just, you know, they found something that grew, and they're like, all right, we got dates or opium, and I can't eat any more goddamn dates. I'm shitting my brains out.
We've got just a surplus of olive oil, and we just
they're just eating dates and olive oil. No wonder they need a little bit of drugs. They're spending all day on the toilet, and they live around sand.
I'd say the profit margins on a poppy plant are quite fucking high. Like,
I heard that there was a story of someone that was, I think it was on PCP or something, and they had fireworks, and they just held on to them, and it actually blew off their hand, and they just didn't even realize it, and they just kept going about their day, just like talking to everybody like it was normal, and then like the people, like the cops show up, and then there's people from the hospital like treating them, and they still don't realize what's going on.
God, I hope I never lose my fucking hands. I love them so much.
My entire job is my hands too. Yeah, it's like
your magic's gonna get really shitty. Yeah, without those hands.
Yeah, but you're
trying to like flip one card with an elbow.
Do any of your magic tricks involve explosives or guillotines? I don't think so. You'll be just fine. Like I'm 3 weeks away from fucking playing with det cord. Like I'm a little afraid of messing with my hands. I'm a little afraid of losing them.
Like my left hand doesn't work very well at all. I damaged it when I was a teenager.
There's a magician named Madi Gilbert or something like that, and he's actually a handless magician. He was born without hands, and he went on Penn and Teller Fool Us, and he actually fooled them without hands, and he did like his own versions of stuff by like putting the cards in his mouth and things. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I've heard that he's a very nice guy, but I've never gotten the chance to meet him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was something that was really interesting.